And hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sharing Your Journeys. Today we have Kimchi, also known as Kim or K. There's so many actually, because I've known people to call you K at times. I'm like, who's K? And they're like, yeah, you know Kim. And I'm like, yes, I know Kim. Um, but anyway, aside all that, I'm super, super excited to have Kim on. Kim is from the USA, if people didn't already know, which I find it very hard to believe if you don't know Kim by now. But without a further ado, I'm going to stop hogging this space. And Kim, I want to give you the platform. Please tell me, how did your hosiery journey start and how's it going?
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me on. I'm a huge fan of yours. I've been following you for like, I don't know, 10 years or something since you've been doing reviews. And for today, I just want to say that I am wearing your Rudy
Oh,
tights.
the Rudy! Oh, it's so good to see the Rudy on. I love that pair.
They are incredible. I wore them on Valentine's Day and everyone went gaga for them.
Oh,
They're
I'm so
amazing tights.
glad.
So my journey. Yeah, it's goes way back to my one of my earliest memories. I'm sure a lot of your followers can relate, but one of my earliest memories was as like a baby on the floor. Well, I
Mm,
don't know, maybe like a toddler on the floor. And at that time, most women were wearing nylons and heels,
mm,
dressing up for work. And my mom was one of those. And I remember one day when she was uh, at home after a long day at work, just relaxing on the couch, and I was at her feet, and then I was like, "Oh, how come her feet are like shiny?" and like,
yeah,
what is this material? So I was like fascinated even back then. And then fast forward a couple of years, and I was visiting my cousin, well, my aunt and uncle and my cousins, and I noticed that she was wearing these navy blue tights. I was like, why are her legs blue? Because
yeah,
at that point, I just know my mom was wearing, nude pantyhose, and then here was blue, and I was like, my eyes just fixed on
yeah,
it. And later on, I found myself, I walked into her room, and there they were lying on the floor, and I was like, I don't know, like 5-year-old me was just drawn to it like a
yeah,
moth to light, right? And I picked them up, and for some reason, my 5-year-old mind compelled me to try them on.
yeah.
and and I pulled them on. I was like, this is the most amazing feeling ever. And from that moment on, I was hooked. So
Wow.
over the years, I remember um, like distinctly when I went to junior high and I would see, I remember this one girl got on the bus and she was wearing these royal blue tights too. And I remember that. And my thought process at the time, like this was before, I was liking girls or anything, but I was like, I really like that outfit. And I don't know what it is. Like I like looking at it, but I also want to wear it, which
Mm,
is kind of like a weird thing to think about at that age, because that's not something that you are supposed to do as a boy. And I also remember one time when one of the neighborhood kids, a boy dressed up as I guess Superboy, and he wore
mm.
lights. And he came to the door during Halloween and, trick or treat, we gave him candy. And I looked at my mom and I was like, wow, did you see his costume? He was wearing red tights. And my mom was like, yeah, that's not right. And I was like,
Oh,
so
okay.
from a
Okay.
young age, I knew that I liked it, but I also knew that it was something not quite, accepted about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like a lot of people who are, getting into this, you find ways, right? So mine was getting into my mom's drawers, hang heads in shame, right? Because that was the only thing that was available. I didn't have any sisters,
Yeah.
so it was my mom's, and I found myself getting into her stash. And as a little kid, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it back exactly the way that I found it." I just
Yeah.
never know, right? And to this day, I don't know if she knew that I was going through it or not. But if you ask me now, I don't know if you've seen my hosiery drawer, but if somebody got in there and moved things around, I think I would totally know. So she
Yeah.
probably knew, but she never confronted me about it. Only on an occasion or two, she did catch me, which was super
Yeah.
embarrassing. But like I said, she never talked to me directly. What happened was uh, uh, we 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 went to church growing up, and so
Mm.
one day um, at like a Friday night Bible study, after she had found my stash without telling me, the pastor was going through a passage from the Bible, which was about cross dressing. And they were like, it was basically summed up as, a man shouldn't wear clothes that are for a woman. And as he read that, he
Oh.
looked up, like I heard it and I looked up and he was looking right at me. And I felt his eyes going into my soul, but I thought,
Yeah.
I think my mom, must have talked to him and told him about that. So that was that
Wow.
having the constant, this is wrong, made me kind of throughout my life kind of put it aside for long stretches. There would be times
Mm.
when I would get back into it and I would, another very embarrassing thing, but, walk around the neighborhood at night and people put their clothes out in the garbage bags. Um, and I would kind of go, oh, it's, free pickings. And sometimes there would be
Yeah.
tights and stuff in there and clothes, and I would pick them out and I'd build up a collection over the years. But then I would like kind of go off to college or something or go away for whatever. And I'd put that aside. And there, I had actually long stretches where I never dressed or thought about it. Um, and then,
Wow.
uh, and then, yeah, like I think there was a time when I was more interested in tights on my girlfriends, and so
Mm.
this became a thing. Like I was able to kind of to be satisfied with that because if they weren't already wearing, then I would get them some, and they were always
Mm.
very amenable to that. They liked the attention that I lavished on them when they wore
Yeah.
tights because they knew that if they did, they would have me in the palm of their hand, and so um, eventually there came a time when I was dating one girl, and she she kind of found my stash. Like I started drinking
Mm.
again in private, and she found it, and she was very unhappy about that, which kind of surprised me because I thought she was more, she would be more accepting of that. But
Mm.
she kind of had a meltdown, and we had to have a discussion about it. And I had to basically pack everything up and donate it, which was very sad because at that point I had been
Wow.
working for a couple of years, and I had Wolfords that I had to.
No.
I know, right? This was a couple $100, and I had you
Oh
know gone
man.
on eBay and like painstakingly gotten these. It's not easy to find size 11 shoes, that was.
Mm.
And so that was a sad moment, but it also helped us, helped her understand how much I loved tights on her. So we were able to, have some fun with that. And that, relationship didn't last for other reasons, but that was definitely a stepping point. And then
Mm.
fast forward to COVID, um, and all of a sudden I had all this free time at home. I didn't have to go into work. I didn't have to look presentable, and all the barbershops were closed, so I let my hair grow.
Mm.
And the most important thing is I joined online communities.
Yeah.
So throughout this journey, for the most part, I was like on my own. I knew that other people were into it by like going on different forums and stuff,
Yeah.
but I never really interacted. So at this point, I started joining like the CD subreddit has a Discord. And so
Mm-hmm.
I got on there, I started getting connected with people. I started getting inspired by seeing these people going out full femme. And I was like, I want to do that. And so
Yeah.
I started getting into makeup. As I said, I grew my hair out. And I got connected with people locally. And my first outing with people was at a Halloween party. And I went there and met, for the first time in my life, I met people in real life that were, fellow cross-dressers, trans, and that kind of community. And it was just amazing, like to finally get connected in person. And
Mm.
and yeah, that's how Kim came about.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a journey. I will say that is a journey there. I mean, oh my God, wow. Just even just thinking about the one part that sticks out was when the pastor was looking at you saying that about cross-dressing, and I was like, please don't tell me like that was aimed at you. Like I can imagine if it was just something that came up and it was one of those, oh my God, what a coincidence. Um, but yeah, from that to like having to get rid of all those Wolfords. Oh my God. It's yeah, yeah, I know. Oh my God. That is a bit of a shock because obviously people who know about Wolfords and absolutely love Wolfords, it's a crime. But I can
Yeah.
totally understand why you did what you did at the end of the day. And it's just nice to hear the fact that you've come along such a long way to the point where I can just see like you're authentically you and you found it's like you found your tribe and it's just when they say like people have a glow up and it's just oh my God, yeah, like that. I just see that completely and it's so nice. I think it's just so nice to sort of see and hear the fact that regardless of how people's journeys are, whether they're good, bad, ugly, it can become something so beautiful as long as you obviously can try and embrace it. I think that's the biggest thing is just being able to embrace it fully. And I get the fact that some people can't or some people won't for whatever kind of reason, but it's just nice to see that people who have, and it's like, oh my God, you're living your best life. So that's so amazing. Wow, that's so
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, the
As
cool
well,
thing is meeting other people is that you get to hear these kinds of stories all the time.
yes.
Like you want to believe, the stories that people have, the adversity that they go through. There's just when you meet them, you already have this shared connection because you've gone through kind of the same thing. You've had
Yeah.
to discover yourself. Um, a lot of times, there's a lot of denial and self-hatred and
Mm,
external influences, but we all are able to get through that and discover our true selves. So it's a great.
yeah. No, it really is. It really is. It made me want to ask you one thing, like, because obviously you mentioned about growing up and obviously cross-dressing is just a no, straight no. And like obviously you don't have to answer if you don't want to answer either. But I just wanted to ask like how are your family about it now? Going from obviously trying it out as a kid and oh my God, da da da, to kind of fully embracing it now. Like I mean, I don't know if they know or if they're supportive. Like how's that?
So they don't know. Nobody in my real life knows.
Wow.
So it's a very interesting thing because I've got uh, my family and my friends on this side, and then
Yeah.
my Kim's friends on this side, and there's no overlap at all. So a lot of my
Wow.
girlfriends have seen Guy Meet because we've done women's girls' weekends and stuff. So they see me
Mm,
make up, but nobody on this side has ever seen this, and it's probably like for a lot of people, it's difficult to do that because it's hard to hide something so big from
mm,
the people that you care about. But the thing is, because I have this community on this side, I have this outlet where Kim can live happily.
mm.
Feel the need to, you know, have to share it with this side. I mean, I've thought about it, and I think, um, it's difficult to say because I'm kind of conservative myself, so a lot of my friends are conservative, and
Mm.
I'm not really sure how that would play out because, like I said, with that one ex, like I thought she was actually one of the most aggressive out of my friends, and she was like, not in my backyard, right? Maybe it's okay for other people,
Yeah.
not for me. And
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like with my family, my brother, he's pretty laid back, and so is my sister-in-law. So I think they would be cool. One thing that I know is that their church recently had kind of a split where the issue was we're going to be accepting of these people and
Mm.
we're not. So the people who are not left, but my brother stayed.
Oh.
So that kind of shows me that he's, accepting.
Yeah.
My mom, on the other hand, one of the big reasons why I want to tell her is because she's my mom, and as a
Mm.
mother, she's like, she wants to see her child happy, and that's one of the things that she's always, worried about. She's like, "Oh, are you happy?" Like, and I want so much to show her Kim's photos and pictures and say, "Look at this.
Yeah.
I am just having the time of my life now. Like, I'm smiling more in these pictures than I ever did, as
Mm.
and I would love for her to see that, but I've kind of tried to feel her out and ask her questions. Like one time we were at my niece's graduation party, and there was one of her friends there who had long hair. And my mom's been harping on me for having long hair for the longest time. She's like, "Oh, it's like I have a daughter now," and she's trying to make fun of me, but little does she know, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's sweet." But I was like, "Yeah, uh, that boy had long hair too. What, wasn't that cool?" And she's like, "No, I don't think that's right. He should cut it off." And I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, man." And
Yeah.
this is only like a year or two ago, so yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm ever going to get to that point where I tell her.
Yeah, that's God. I can totally. The other thing is I can see that I can understand the picture. I can understand your side and I can kind of see where your mom's coming from in that as well. And I think it's sad. I think it's for me it's sad to hear, but I'm so glad. I think the beauty about it is you have a community that is so supportive of everything that you do. And I think that's because I always say like support all around, is important. And I always harp on about it, like, like my family, loved ones, friends, like the whole IG community that I've got kind of behind me and everything. It's so nice. And when you just hear like there's one part and it can be quite a big part that isn't in that. It makes me very sad. But no, but it's just yeah. I'm so glad that you have other support around and potentially your brother and your sister as a potentially your brother and your sister-in-law as well. So yeah, I can imagine it be quite tough. And I say that because I speak to obviously with the host community, it's massive. And I speak to a lot of different people and it's like how you said, there's a lot of similar stories. There's some that are like, oh yeah, you kind of, but no, you definitely veer off tangent kind of thing, and I've never heard this before. And I think, oh my God, I'm losing my train of thought. Oh my God, I've just lost my train of thought. No, I can't be having this today. It was such a good thing I was about to say, and I've just lost it. Oh no.
Grab it
Yeah,
before it flies away.
it's like this trying to claw it back. Um, where was I going with this? Oh my God.
A lot of people have similar stories, but some of them don't. And or the community, like being able to share with your family, being
Oh my
accepted.
God, Kim, I've lost it.
It's okay.
For
Maybe
God's
it'll come
sake,
back.
son, for God's sake. Oh, right, it will come back. Watch, it'll come back at the most randomest time, and I'll be like, Kim, I've remembered it now. I've remembered it now. But I think, but no, but in terms of like, I will say one thing, like I do have to rate the hosiery community with on how much they've taught me and how supporting that they can be of just everybody. And I say that because not that many people know, and some people know the fact that like I was never that open-minded when I was younger because I never understood it. And I think that's
Mm.
the thing when you don't see it often, when you don't hear about it often, you're like, oh my God, what's going on? And I think the more. And I think that's why like the community over the years has helped me so much because I've had so many interesting conversations with so many different people. And it's really opened my eyes to be like, wow. And I think that's why I'm so big on support as well, is just because from what I've heard, it's like, okay, my first thing would be, right, have you got the right amount of support for your journey, whether you're starting off or you're kind of midway through and oh, you're just about to kind of come out with it and have you got everything that you kind of need to push you through? And I think, yeah, I think that's why I find like having good support a huge thing, especially when it comes to, I think, especially when it comes to just you and your identity and how you present yourself and who you want to be, especially when it is something out of the norm, as some people say that I've come across recently, and well, yeah, we won't talk about them. But but yeah, I think yeah, I think it is. I think it is important to have, especially I would definitely say especially when cross-dressing, because I've heard some of the horrible comments in London when I've gone out and about during the day, in the evening, and especially when you're around Soho and all that. You get all walks of life, and I love it. It's just so different, and it's just amazing. But I remember like about a year ago, I think it happened, and it was the most horrendous thing. Don't get me wrong, I piped up. I really piped up, and my crowd were like, "Can you not say anything because we don't want to get in a fight?" And I was like, "But that's not fair. How is it right for somebody just to make comments about someone because they're happy cross-dressing and they're living their best life and that person isn't?" So they feel like they have a right to an opinion. But yeah, we'll keep that bit short. But yeah, it's just it's crazy what you kind of see, but I think is a lack of understanding. I think that's a big thing as well. There's a lack of understanding, and I think a lot of people aren't open, like open-minded to it, which I feel is part of the problem, if I'm honest. That's my rant over. That's my rant over.
Well, I just want to add to that by saying, for the Hosiery community, I just want to thank you because you've done so much for the community. Like
Oh,
you
thank
have
you.
given not only shown that it's okay for people of all walks of life to wear it, but you've given a platform to people to tell their own stories, which in turn encourages other people, inspires other people
Mm.
to get out there and just live their life as they want to. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank
Uh,
you. Oh, thank you. I think that's a thing. Like, if you got a voice, right, it's how can you use it in the right way? And I
mm.
think that's what's driven me. I mean, like, obviously, if I had my old Instagram account and was growing that, I'd have been like way, way bigger. But I think it's just knowing the fact that if you can have some kind of impact on people, it's like, well, actually, how can you use that the right way? And I think that's why for me, it's like it's a bit of a personal mission, if I'm honest, to try and like, and it's like how like my headline is, it's kind of like, removing the stigmas and changing the perceptions because I want people to know, I want people to question so others can educate. If it's not me, it's others educating them to be like, okay, look, let's have a conversation instead of just thinking XYZ or spurting XYZ. It's actually like, no, why don't you try and understand a little bit as to where others are coming from? But that's a whole that's a whole life mission right there, if I'm
That's,
honest.
I mean, that's
But
incredible because to be honest, you don't see a lot of people like yourself doing that for our community. I mean, for the
mm,
longest time, I thought it was just like, like cross-dressers only. Like, I don't know what the
yeah.
statistics are, but some people will say, oh, it's like the 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 hosiery market is only for men nowadays. But no, it's not like that. There's lots of women like yourself that are into them, but you kind of stand out because you're a proponent for all people um, to wear them, and that's incredible, I think.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Sometimes I lose sight of that sometimes. So it's kind of nice to hear. I appreciate that, Kim. Thank you. I was gonna say actually, we're coming to time.
That was
But I
fast.
do you know what? Honestly, that flew. I'm not gonna lie, that really flew by for me. Normally, it's like, oh yeah, this feels like a really good session, and today it was like, what? Oh my God.
I took too
Um,
much time in the beginning with my story.
No, oh my God. Han, this platform is for you. This is about you. But I will definitely will say, because I already know, right? I accidentally slipped to like two people the fact that I'm gonna have you on, and they've already been like, "Oh my God, we need to have a part two, part three, part four, part five." And I'm just like,
Oh, cool.
"Okay." So literally, I would love to like do a part two with you and just if it's okay, like delve into other aspects of your life and how Hosier may have impacted that. Um, or may not have. There's always that as well. But it would be amazing to have you on again if you'd like to come back for a part two.
I would love to. That'd be great.
Yeah, no, so we'll definitely be in talks. So everybody listening, watching, we'll definitely be in talks of trying to get a part two. So if you do have any questions that you'd like to ask Kim, then fire away. Let us know, either myself or Kim, let us know. And we can definitely get them answered on part two, as well as asking Kim a little bit more um about your life, basically. Just because I'm like, I don't know, I get really intrigued. I think I kind of make it like just my thing to be like, oh my God, now I know this part of you. Like, I want to know more. Like, I really want to know so much more. So, yeah, a part two is definitely coming up. But before we kind of end, Kim, I wanted to ask you something that I always ask people who come on, especially on the first part. If there's a message that you could leave everyone who's kind of watching, and listening, what would that message be? And that could be just a little something or a little bit of advice, whatever you would like.
This is probably going to sound a lot like what a lot of other people have said, but basically, chase your dreams. So I remember a time when I would, look at all these people who are kind of like myself and be like, wow, they look so good and they're so brave to go out there and live their life. Like
Mm,
there's no way I could do that. I'm just gonna sit back and I can enjoy it, but I'm never gonna reach that level.
mm,
And there was just a certain point where I remember specifically looking at videos of Samantha Lux, who's like a trans person, and thinking, wow, like her journey from when she had like short hair all the way up until like now when it's like long and beautiful and she's living her life. And I was like, that's when it started clicking for me. And I was like,
yeah.
maybe I can do this. And one of my other friends, Jessica, like I saw her, she was the first one of the first people I saw on the CD subreddit Discord who was going out into the real world as herself. And I was like, I think I might be able to do that. And so
Yeah.
they're just little baby steps, and finally, I got to where I am today. And I'm not finished, I'm still going out and enjoying the world as Kim. But if that's something that you want, you can do it.
I love that. Yeah, I really love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
I think that's a really nice message, especially I mean, obviously for everybody, but I think especially for the cross-dressing community, because I know a lot of people in that community where they feel very stuck and they feel, they can only do it in a certain safe space and they can never come out of that. They can never go into the real world with that. And it's just, oh my God, just even hearing that, it's like, yeah, but you can. You can. Honestly, Kim says you can. You can. So yeah, it's just yeah, honestly, yeah, that was a beautiful message. Thank you. Thank you
And then
so much, Kim.
another very short, funny one I have is
Oh, go on.
please hand wash your tights. Don't throw them in the washing machine. If you're going to do that, at least put them in a lingerie bag.
Yes. 1,000% yes.
A lot of my
I
friends,
hear this.
some of my friends will take videos of them throwing their tights into the washing machine just to mess with me because they know I hate it.
I thank God no one does it to me, and nobody please do that to me just because I've said that now. Honestly, I would have such a heart attack.
Yeah.
But no, but thank you for that. Thank you for that really critical piece of information, Kim, because honestly, so many, yeah, I know a few people, like people who do that, and I've literally had to buy them laundry bags, but please put them in this at least. Just put your delicates in this at
Yeah.
least.
No Wolfords in the washing machine.
Especially not the Wolffords. Hand wash those. If you can pay good money to buy them, you can hand wash them. You have time to hand wash them. I hear that. I hear that. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kim, for coming on. It's been such a
Thank
pleasure
you, Sony.
having you on. And yeah, we're definitely going to be in talks for part two. So watch your space, people, because part two will be happening at some point soon. But thank you
In-
so much for coming on, Kim.
Interview aside, it's amazing to just chat with you for the first time. Big fan, as I've always
Yes.
said.
Likewise, likewise. That's why I was like, oh my God, fangirl moment when we first had our call because I was like, Kim, oh my God, I'm actually talking to Kim. So this is what I mean. We love the Hoja community. It's just nice connecting and whatnot. So no, so thank you so much, Kim. Thank you. And until next time, my darling.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sony.
Bye for now.
Bye.